How's it going, folks? Once again, I'm your boy Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. The Last of Us 2 is out. Some people love it, some people not so much. One of the big pieces of news right now is let's take a look over at Metacritic.com. At Metacritic, you can see what the reviewers review it as, what the big branch, big names, newsies, game reviewers, what they think of it, versus what the average consumer thinks about it. So here we have Metacritic.com. And it's a big deal right now that Metacritic gives this a 95, but users give it a 3.5. So there's a lot of politics behind this, a lot going on. You definitely get two types of individuals in this game. You get the people that love the franchise, and then you get people who are basically paid to review it. Now, one of the nuances of being a reviewer is if you give a game that was made by a big company a bad review, you might not get the game to review again in time. So before games are released, they're usually reviewed. EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, always made sure it would not review a game until it's played the final version. GamePro, on the other hand, way back in the day, would not go by this, and because of that, GamePro reviews would often come out that had issues with the game that EGM would not. I specifically remember it was a Sega Saturn game, an RPG, and there's a specific level that everyone who played the review version said there's just too many instances of battle. You know, you walk around an RPG and all of a sudden you're in a fight, right? Well, when the final product came out, that wasn't the thing. That was no longer the thing. And EGM reviewed it totally differently, and it made a lot more sense. However, you also get situations where the people who review these games don't love the games. They don't know about the history of the games. For example, it can be really hard to get into a Star Wars franchise because there's so much story, so much expanded universe, so many legends. They call it these days. But back in the day, if you threw enough money at Lucas, you could make whatever story you wanted. And it almost came to the point where unless Lucas said it was part of the story, it was glorified fan fiction that you paid for, and that kind of sucked because you spend so much time and money into these stories. And the story of The Last of Us changed. The characters from The Last of Us changed quite a bit. Some of the problems that we had within The Last of Us, within The Last of Us 1, the man that was trying to help the little girl. Honestly, I haven't played this much, but I've heard a lot of issues with this. The man that was trying to help the little girl, he was very hesitant. He was a really dark kind of thinker. They don't trust anyone ever. And in the second one, he's just like, hey, there's some people, let's go hang out with them. But he would not go to a house unless he was absolutely sure that he knew the people in the house and that the people in the house were good. Apparently in the second one, he's just like, hey, let's go up to this place that's radioing and saying that they're here and they need help and stuff like that. It's really, really unfortunate when the story changes like that because the person writing it doesn't know the source material. They're good at writing. That doesn't mean they know the story. And unfortunately, with a lot of franchises, we just have to let that go. But I think us as fans need to put our foot down and say, no, if we're going to be paying money and time for these franchises, you keep the storyline straight. You keep the people the same way. Of course, it doesn't mean that people can't grow and change. Anyway, speaking of big changes between different writers and whatnot, we have a situation also going down with Paw Patrol. A lot of people are saying that the main character, Chase is on the case, right, Zoe? That Chase should not be allowed on the show because of the protests that we're going through right now. And perhaps we'll get another writer that'll jump on that thinks that kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, writers will jump on with their own ideas of how things should be, and they'll get their ideas of how things should be, but they don't know the characters. They don't know the characters. But what also is really funny about this is this game hasn't even been out maybe 24 hours yet, and this game is a 36-hour game. So if these individuals have this game beat, then they must have a Tesseract or something. They have the ability to go into the fourth dimension, let's say. Fourth dimension, you can see backwards and forward through time, of course. But I would say, anyone out there who has reviewed this, if you've reviewed this and you haven't finished it, it's up to you to re-review this when you have finished the game. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. Liking and subscribing helps me keep this kid full of crackers, right? Right, Zoe? Yep, she likes her crackers. Anyways, have a good one, folks. Take care of each other.